But I will say this. I do believe that to separate yourself in this league, to actually be competitive, you need the elite game breakers. And so all these teams that have prospects on the way, it looks to me like Ottawa's actually became that.
Pete, give us your work on the Ottawa Senators.
The Ottawa Senators.
They are hot.
They are extremely hot. In the month of December, they're currently on a 4-game win streak. They've won 7 of their last 10. They have the third best points percentage in December, outscoring opponents 17-7 at 5-on-5, and are allowing the fewest goals per game. Big part of that, the biggest part of that, Linus Ullmark has won his last 6 starts, 972 save percentage with 2 shutouts. They've given up 9 total goals in their last 7 games. 3 of those came in a game started by Anton Forsberg, who let up 3 goals on 12 shots. So, like, Linus Ullmark is saving the Ottawa Senators. Is that sustainable? Do you believe in the Ottawa Senators if Linus Ullmark is a Vezina or even close to it caliber goaltender?
Yeah, well, first off, shout out to the production value of your show, having boards and flashbacks. This is really high end. But yes, Linus Ullmark to me is going to be the difference maker for this team because I think the East kind of sucks. Like I look down that, you look at sort of who's close there, who's going to get into that final wild card spot. Like the Rangers can't lose enough. The Islanders are stagnant as hell. It's like, who's any good? One team gets a Vezina performance from a goalie, and it's like, sure, they're going to be the team that gets in. But I will say this. I do believe that to separate yourself in this league, to actually be competitive, you need the elite game breakers. And so all these teams that have prospects on the way, it looks to me like Ottawa's actually became that. Like, Stützle is elite to me. He is a total difference maker. Tkachuk is a 40-goal guy who'll punch you in the face. Like, Sanderson looks really good. He goes back on pucks and no one touches him. He's like Mike Vick back there. So they do have some guys who are elite difference makers. And so, yeah, few guys that are great and a great goalie. I think they are good enough to get in. The rest of the team is absolutely average, but you can say that of all those teams around there.
Okay, so they are not overtaking, I would say, like they're not overtaking the Lightning, but they could overtake the Bruins. And I think that on the balance of the season, I've liked the Senators more than I've liked the Bruins this season.
I mean, to Justin's point, like the Senators right now have something going extremely right. What is going extremely right for the Bruins? Nothing.
What are the from Medford?
The only thing that's gone extremely right for the Bruins in the last month or so is their schedule. They've just played a bunch of horrible teams.
Pavel Zacha's an overtime merchant. How many times do we need to say this, Peter?
I mean, it is worth pointing out, though, that the teams that Ottawa has played recently have not been amazing either. I do want to run down that list because I was looking at it and I was like, oh, that could explain it. Last bunch of games, Kraken, no. Penguins, no, definitely not.
Penguins haven't been horrible of late.
They're not a good team.
They are the Penguins.
The Carolina Hurricanes, they shut out the Hurricanes, so credit to them. That's impressive victory.
Big boy win.
They beat the Ducks. They lost to the Islanders. They beat the Predators. Great, congratulations. And they beat the Red Wings. So, and then they lost to the Ducks before that. That's the month of December.
You only beat who you play?
We have a show. Yeah, we have a show to do today, Pete. We can only talk about what the Senators are doing right now. We want to talk about the Senators losing to the Knights in a couple of weeks. We'll do that then. Although Senators famously are hot. I got some numbers for you on that. I'm just kidding. I'm just going to repeat what you said. But I'm not so in on the Senators that I say, yeah, playoff team. But I am so in on Justin's point, which is the East kind of sucks. If there were a mushy middle of the league, it would be the second through fourth spots in each of these divisions. No, the Metro.
Islanders are league average. Islanders are the defining league average team for me. They're fine.
Yeah. But Hurricanes I love. Capitals, God do I love. But if you want to go in the Atlantic, and Florida is Florida. Toronto I believe in this season, but we'll see what ends up happening with their goaltending with Stolarz out for the time being. Tampa, better than we thought, but we're not talking about world beaters once you get into even the Toronto, the Tampa, the Boston, and then as you get into the wild cardish stuff, the Ottawa, the Philadelphia.
The last 2 seasons have made me wish so badly that there were 4 wild card spots available to the entire league, not 2 to each conference. Because last year I would have taken it away from the Washington Capitals and given it to, I don't even remember at this point who would have been in contention for the Western Conference, but I can guarantee they would deserve it more than the Washington Capitals did. And this year, I think that I would give 3 spots to the Western Conference again.
We all silly like the mayor.
What a better way to dismantle the NBA and prop up the NHL by revealing this crazy scheme in the first week of the season.
First, we do need to discuss the NBA being rocked by scandal. In the very week that it tips off, someone tipped off the FBI to some illegal goings on, and arrests are happening. From ABC News, Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups is among those charged in an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia, while Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, my guy, is among several people charged in a separate but related illegal gambling case authorities announced on Thursday. The poker games, which included basketball players to lend credibility to their authenticity, were allegedly rigged in favor of those running the games, using advanced technology such as rigged shuffling machines and even X-ray technology to read cards facing down on the table, U.S. Attorney Joseph Nocella Jr. said.
I'm going to stop. Please go back.
Yeah.
There's more. There's even more details than what he's
But my
getting.
brain moves slowly. Please go back. Okay.
They're using some sort of technology that reads if you shuffle the cards and you put them on the table, they're using something that says, in sending to somebody, that's a jack of clubs.
So this is like the what are we looking at here table of tables.
Sean, throw it up, please.
Oh,
Did I steal your joke?
No?
Okay.
No, I'm saying like whenever we have moments like that, we're trying to get that sponsored. So that was a very organic, like, what are we looking at here thing. Every time you hear us say, what are we looking at? Pavlovian response. Toss it up. Just like when we used to discuss a certain owner of a certain hockey team. Pavlovian. Fuck you. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying the table is looking at things.
Oh,
the table
looking at here.
That was I was saying. This is the what are we looking at here table.
Wow. Get that table. That'd be pretty sick. Although, no, I was going to make a chair company reference, but none of you guys watched.
I watched the first episode last night. Very funny.
Very funny. You got to watch both. I can't wait till everyone's in. Games were organized, continues ABC News, beginning in 2019 in the Hamptons, Manhattan, Las Vegas, and Miami. Officials said the profits from the alleged poker scheme ran up to $7 million, quote, and counting, officials said. I will say, if you're using illegal, what are we looking at tables, I would think that you're pulling more money than that. But the investigation took place across 2 years, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said. This is where it gets interesting. When victims, some of whom lost millions, refused to pay, the mob defendants resorted to violence. The NYPD said, quote, the fraud is mind-boggling. FBI Director Kash Patel said at a news conference in Brooklyn announcing the charges. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in theft, in fraud, in robbery. Why did I say that name so funny? Why do I think that maybe this is understandable? You have the FBI director in charge of this, but who is the FBI director? It is Kash Patel.
Kash Patel is a hockey guy.
Damn.
Thank you, Frank Saravalli. Kash Patel is a hockey guy. Look it up, said Kash Patel, or said Frank Saravalli of Kash Patel, who famously was in attendance with Wayne Gretzky to watch Alexander Ovechkin break the goals record.
So that's
because he's a Republican?
That's unbelievable. This could be the biggest inside job of Please Like My Sport I've ever seen.
Guy's a legit hockey guy.
What a better way to dismantle the NBA and prop up the NHL by revealing this crazy scheme in the first week of the season.
Go watch the video and photos of Kash Patel playing hockey. Guy's a legit hockey guy. Because he's a Republican?
Unbelievable.
There's layers to this.
There's more details to the cheating than you have even gotten to.
Guy's
like
a
the
legit
tech that they
hockey guy.
used to do this cheating involved like special contacts and glasses that allowed them to like see specifically marked cards.
So this is like
This is
James Bond technology.
like high tech, and they had like scanners. They had special chip holders that had scanners on them, and special tables that would scan the cards, or deck shufflers that would scan the cards. They would get sent to someone off-site known as the quarterback, and then that quarterback would relay that information back to somebody at the table so they could make the bets. Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones were just like fish bait. They were there so people like rich people would want to come play with them and then lose their money. And then because like so there would be like another person who wasn't one of the athletes at the table who was really running like the kind of the cheating part.
So,
And then
the Chauncey Billups of it all, like he was involved in sports gambling, correct?
No, he was just involved in the fixed poker games. There was no sports gambling for him.
No, it's Terry Rozier that
Correct. Yeah, okay.
Terry Rozier, and then Damon Jones was involved in both. He was involved in the sports and the poker games.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Does Jonte Porter have anything to do with this?
Yes. At one point,
Does not surprise me.
at one point, in a way that you might not think, at one point, Jonte Porter was approached by the Mafia. FBI says that former Raptors player Jonte Porter was threatened to participate in the sports gambling scheme because of his prior gambling debts. So I don't know that he didn't actually involve himself in this, but they tried to approach him because they knew he was vulnerable.
Okay, to those who don't know, Jonte Porter was banned for life for sports gambling,
Yes.
for betting on
Like
basketball
basically
while
throwing
playing.
NBA
Yeah,
games.
essentially, while playing for the Raptors. What do you got?
Caleb says the FBI should get this tech. And that was my thought. Not that the FBI should get it, but the FBI probably has it.
Yes.
Probably part of the Cash Patel of it all, trying
Cash
to dismantle
Patel's
the
a
NBA
hockey
and prop up the NHL.
And there
He's
is
like my sport.
There is precedent, at least allegedly, throughout U.S. history, for the Mafia to be severely involved in the law enforcement agencies within our federal government.
Because he's a Republican.
Just
Cash
saying.
Patel is a hockey guy. Guy's a
This
legit
is
hockey guy.
this is incredible.
This rocks my world.
I will say it's the Chauncey Billups. I'm glad that he did not bet on games. I'm glad that it was not sports gambling. Was he? So it sounds like he was being used as a pawn.
Yeah, but he was getting caught. He was involved.
Yeah,
Like,
like
he
it's,
wasn't-
it's
he
fraud
wasn't-
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
terrible behavior and like definitely loses his job. Definitely like probably goes to jail. But I'm just glad that we're not doing the sports game, like betting on games thing as a head coach in the NBA.
Not to pocket
I would
watch.
rather the head coach than the fucking players.
Not to pocket watch.
I wouldn't.
You're the third overall pick. You had a prolific NBA career. You were finals MVP. You were probably getting all sorts of endorsement money. What do you need to do illegal mafia? What?
It doesn't seem like everyone had complete free will in all this.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Like
if you're involved in a gambling scheme, there's a good chance that you have gambling
Yeah,
issues
And
and are
you
in
also
debt.
can't get. It's not something you could be like, "Oh, this has gone too far. I want out."
Fair.
Once
And-
you're one toe in, you're all the way in.
Also, acting like somebody who has money shouldn't pretend like they want more money.
I know.
And
There's
this isn't
never enough, my friend.
This isn't just like remnants of old crime families in the U.S. This like goes to the top. It's La Costa Nostra, like the Italian mafia, like the mafia.
This is crazy.
It is fucking insane.
Watch
Also, the sports
video
gambling investigation.
and photos of Cash Patel playing hockey. Guy's a legit hockey guy.
The investigation is being called Operation Nothing But Net.
Come on.
That's the sports gambling one. While the poker investigation, and Cash Patel came up with these names himself, Operation Royal Flush. Guy's a genius. Marketing genius. Definitely got a lot going on in between those years, Cash Patel does.
He's a genius.
Cash with a K, by the way.
Yes. With
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
he's
know.
A Republican?
Last one.
Okay. No, I don't believe you. But yeah, this is wild.
Investigations have been going on for 4 years. Victims lost almost $7 million. And important to note, the technology, the card scanning technology that they used, they had to steal. They robbed somebody at gunpoint in order to get that technology to commit the later fraud and cheating.
This is
It is like legit movie shit. It's fucking awesome. Minus the fact that people's lives were ruined.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That part's not awesome, but it would make
The
an awesome movie.
violence.
It would make an awesome
Cost of
movie.
doing business.
Yes. By the way, I don't know if I've ever told you this. My grandpa is Italian, from southern Italy. If you asked him about the Italian mafia, he'd say it didn't exist.
Sounds like something.
that is
Sounds like something an Italian would say.
Sounds like someone in the mafia would say.
That's right. This is unbelievable for a lot of reasons, but also because yesterday we had the conversation that, like, if you fall asleep for a week during the NBA season, you feel like you were in a coma for a year. Like, the season is 3 days old, and there's a player and a coach arrested by the FBI for a NBA ex-mafia collab. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought that Terry Rozier already got in trouble for this.
So did I. That was my understanding. Terry Rozier was already in some sort of, unless I dreamt this, which guilty, I have dreamt about Terry Rozier. That guy with the Celtics was the best, but I was under the impression Terry Rozier was already in trouble.
And maybe like this investigation has been going on for 4 years, so maybe that's what we had learned at one point, that there was an investigation going on into him. But yeah, I mean, I pushed back on your point a little bit yesterday. Hand up, I was way wrong. NBA is moving at 100 miles an hour.
I would love to just get like an oral history or a documentary about like the last few days around the Portland Trail Blazers. Like getting ready for a season, playing for a team, because you know that like they've got some idea. You imagine that they've got some idea that something is going on when the FBI is about to arrest your coach.
I mean, I don't know. I know it's the Cash Patel run FBI, but I feel like the FBI usually is. I don't think you know the FBI is coming until they're there. Like, I don't think the FBI is leaving a whole lot of clues.
Maybe.
So I think they played. I think they lost their game last night. Chauncey went to bed thinking, "Oh, we'll get him next game," and he woke up to a knock at his door.
Yeah, they don't book a room, so to speak.
Yeah.
They come and they say there's vacancy. Not to mention, is Scoot Henderson any good?
Oh, that might be one of my all-time bad NBA takes. I thought Scoot Henderson was going to be the future.
So did I. I thought that things were turning around for the old Blazers.
I got caught up. I saw a picture of him with his shirt off, and I was just like, this guy's going to be a fucking beast.
I mean, many of us have been damned by videos of people jumping out of pools and been like, well, that's going to be a great athlete. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to What Chaos here on YouTube. You will get everything, daily episodes, player interviews, and so much more. It's all here on the What Chaos YouTube. Hit subscribe.
Real quick, do you think we could get her to do a hockey podcast? I know people might not like that, but
I think we should avoid
pucks
that.
with
Based off
Palin.
Oh, no, I would. No. Sorry, folks. I would. If Sarah Palin said she would do this podcast, absolutely. She's on. Matt Rempe said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to be physical. I've seen all sorts of discourse over this. He got suspended 8 games. And at the time he threw the hit, I texted the group. I was like, this is at the point now where every time he has a hearing, or because it was a in-person hearing that I believe was waived and became a Zoomer, but that means that you can get at least 6 games. Every time he has a hearing now, it's going to be in person or it's going to be a long suspension, because he's always coming off of his last NHL game, or like 3 NHL games ago for him being suspended. In 22 career games, he has been suspended for 12 games. He's been ejected in 18% of the games that he has played. Maybe Matt Rempe's going to be something good, and I know that I'm wasting my breath and wasting time being like, Matt Rempe isn't a really good NHL player, because we all know that right now. But like, if you want any more proof that you are wasting your time thinking Matt Rempe will fix a team's problems at this point in his career, like, just watch. He goes out there, does something stupid, and if it's not something stupid that's going to get him suspended, it's something stupid like he slips and he falls down and it's just a ridiculous play. He doesn't bring anything to the table right now other than getting himself suspended.
I hear everything that you're saying. I do have a counterpoint. The Rangers won that game. And the Rangers haven't been winning a lot of games recently.
Cooked.
They've lost basically every game other than that game. And I just got to say, Rangers typically win when Matt Rempe's in the lineup. Does he contribute a lot to that? Maybe.
It's like
maybe not.
when you put a bad goalie in net, so the defense knows they have to play better. It's like you put Matt Rempe in the lineup, everyone else knows they have to step up their game to compensate.
And the other forwards know they get to play like 55 more seconds in the game because they're going to have fewer forwards very quickly.
25%
Nothing unites
increase
the other
in
like
power
24 guys, like the one idiot who's out there and they're like, oh, we got to fucking make sure that we make up for this guy.
Yeah. Pucks with Palin weighed in on this, our favorite hockey analyst.
Real quick, do you think we could get her to do a hockey podcast? I know people might not like that, but
I think we should avoid
Pucks
that.
with
Based off
Palin.
of-
Oh, no, I would. No. Sorry, folks. I would, if Sarah Palin said she would do this podcast, absolutely.
She's the
on.
exact kind of, because like she's not relevant. She's got no power. When's the last time you heard about Sarah Palin outside of the context of the New York Rangers? Having her get on here and make a fool out of herself.
And if Sarah Palin comes on, and now I'm projecting, if Sarah Palin comes on and says something gross or horrible, then that's in the public eye to people that don't like her. That's another nail in her coffin. Like, that's no sweat off my back. And Sarah Palin already has a platform. But anyway, Sarah Palin, ridiculous hockey takes. Here comes this one. Shoot. And this was, I believe, Molly Walker tweeted like, Matt Rempe's not going to be playing in this game while he's awaiting suspension.
And for the people watching on YouTube, the picture of Matt Rempe that you see is what she tweeted. It was just a cutout, no background picture of Matt Rempe.
That looks like an iPhone sticker. You know how you can make the stickers on iPhones? I think that's what that is. So that suggests to me that she has the Matt Rempe sticker available on her iMessage at all times, which I love.
That does rock.
Her and Duguay just hitting each other with like, hey,
Just absurd Rangers takes back and forth.
oh, I would love it. So like,
I did not know that. That was made knowledge to me after our last Sarah
Same.
Palin.
I don't fucking-
'Cause she's dating Ron Duguay, apparently.
yeah,
Which-
they're
crazy.
Good for her.
I love the idea because like friend texts, like people that you see all the time, whether it's like a very close friend or a significant other or whatever, the text can end up just being like short, like communicative, just like little piece of information. That's it. You're not a lot of like, hey, what's your favorite episode of Seinfeld? Like those sorts of things aren't happening. I love the idea that this couple, they're just texting each other. They're not seeing each other a lot. They're just texting each other. Like they're talking about the Rangers. Via
Matt
text.
Rempe stickers.
Yeah.
Do you have any hockey-related stickers on your iMessage?
I have one sticker.
What is it?
It is.
Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, I can. It is O.J. Simpson looking at the gloves. That's the only sticker I have in my phone.
You famously have used that in
I have
edits for
not
us.
related to that at all. I have had that sticker in there before that.
Just Sean's
but maybe it was
frequently
top
used
of mind.
folders.
Yeah, I love that picture.
I have one hockey-related sticker in my phone, and it's John Tortorella, the one who's like pointing up at the scoreboard, and it's just so funny. He's like, ah! So I use that when somebody sends like a dumb text message, and it's Tortorella pointing up.
It will not surprise you that I just heard the term iPhone sticker for the first time in my life when Pete said it a few seconds ago. Palin's tweet, shoot, because he is the difference. That's like some, like talking about him like he's God.
Flex emoji.
Since
that's
when
a
did so many softies
nickname.
become hockey, quote unquote, fans? Anti-Rempe tribe wanting to change the game to kumbaya hockey. Think y'all don't really know the game. You better off sticking with tiddlywinks.
Kind of a banger.
And if I had no doubt that I would welcome Sarah Palin to this show, now I would give up my seat on this show to just let Sarah Palin go. And granted, now I'd be losing the thing of like, hey, if she says something stupid, she's gone, and then we're like, fuck her, whatever. I would, if she's going to talk like that, I'm giving up my seat, letting her go.
I'm also giving up my seat because I don't know how I would respond to any of that. I'd just be laughing.
Pete doesn't want to be on set with just Sarah Palin. Pete's like, you don't like how that outcome
No.
is. And then I get to be like
Because
on
then
a podcast with Pete Blackburn.
And people will be like,
You
oh,
gave her a
he
platform.
laughed. Oh, she sat there and said all these things and you just laughed? Yeah, because it's hilarious. This is
Sean?
stupidly hilarious tweets.
Chat asks, is she doing numbers on that? Would you be able to look
She
that up?
has 257 responses, 428 retweets, and 779 just went from 8 to 9 likes.
Can I ask an important question? What's more derogatory or worse for a hockey club, to be branded with Instagram hockey or Kumbaya hockey?
I like Kumbaya hockey.
I
Famously,
think
I said
both
if a
of-
player was strangling me on the ice, I would tap out and be like, have fun being in trouble.
You did say
I'm a
that.
Kumbaya hockey guy. Also, Instagram hockey. Oh, I'll tell you what, a lot of the time, Instagram hockey leads to not goals. People doing a little too many dipsy doodles. And I famously am a fan of watching hockey. I don't like watching
Goals.
let's blow the whistle and play a sound and dance around and do Instagram dance.
Yeah, but Instagram hockey insinuates that there's a lot of skill involved. Kumbaya hockey just insinuates that like everybody just wants to be
passing.
friends and be relaxed and calm. And
I feel like both are like
are bad.
if you are getting labeled with them, you are doing something right.
no, I mean, famously with the Rangers, they're not doing a lot of stuff right.
Yeah, but like she's calling it what she's calling Kumbaya hockey is people not wanting Matt Rempe to murder people. So if you are getting called Kumbaya hockey, you are doing something right because you don't want Matt Rempe killing people. And if you're getting called Instagram hockey, it's because you're actually have some kind of
Also,
skill.
isn't Kumbaya mostly, and I'm loosely paraphrasing here, Kumbaya generally means unity and community, things like that.
That's true.
And if you're besmirching someone hoping for that with the Rangers right now, you are hilarious. That organization has devolved into further madness than usual. There is clearly not unity. There is uncertainty. There is definitely not a sense of community. We had an insider on our show recently, I'm forgetting the name, say that players are walking on eggshells because they don't know what's happening. And according to this insider, the plan was not able to ascertain or figure out what sort of plan this was. And this is a smart person that I'm talking about, this insider that said this. So looking at the Rangers and being like, oh, these woke losers just want Kumbaya. A droplet of Kumbaya would do so much for the like would up their Kumbaya per 60 by 10,000%.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that same insider currently in our chat saying, "Can you guys please like genuinely discuss whether Matt Rempe is good or bad for the league?" No, that's not something that we want to do.
Well, I'll put these on so damn fast and talk about something else.
Just, I mean, it's bad for my mental health that Matt Rempe just continues to do the same shit over and over again, and people are like finding ways to spin it into whether it's good or bad.
The problem is that it's hilarious minus the fact that he's like actually hurting important hockey players. Because if he just kept on like, I don't know, if he kept on getting game misconducts because he was like throwing shit into the stands, not hurting anybody, like that would be hilarious.
My ideal Matt Rempe's experience is if he doesn't injure opponents and he has hilariously stupid plays that like basically only affect himself.
Yes, exactly.
Remember the clip of him behind the
of
goal
course.
line
Yeah.
where he just eats shit
Yeah.
and like falls into the boards and like basically only semi hurts himself.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the
Like,
Against
best.
the Flyers.
if he
Keep
was
that
just,
guy in the league for sure.
if he was just like 5 minutes into the game, every time got pissed off, he's like, fuck this, threw his gloves into the stands, got tossed, that would rock.
We all silly like the mayor.
He got dragged all weekend for the palm trees.
Well, he should
Okay.
because that's such a stupid quote. The reason that the Buffalo Sabres are on so many people's no trade clause or no trade list is because you don't fucking win hockey games.
Sean, your Buffalo Sabres are in free fall. Free fall, tree fall, whatever you want to call it. Things are not good for the Buffalo Sabres. They have lost 6 games in a row. They are now 11-13-3. They are 8th in the wild card race by points percentage. Not 8th in the Eastern Conference, Sean. Not 8th so they would be a wild card team. They are 8th in the wild card race by points percentage. The teams ahead of them, the Boston Bruins, the New York Rangers, the Islanders, Flyers, Blue Jackets, all at 500. The Penguins at a 483 clip. The Senators at a 481 clip. And then you get to the Buffalo Sabres, 8th in the wild card race by points percentage with a 463 points percentage. I don't want to ask what happened because it seems like just Sabres stuff has happened. They are bad, Sean.
I would argue that nothing has happened. This is exactly they are what at least I thought they were. It's very I could sit here and talk about this team for a full hour myself, but I'm very annoyed with the current state of the Buffalo Sabres, but not surprised.
I'm a conscientious objector. I think a week ago, maybe a few weeks ago, I said, I'm not talking about the Sabres. And so I'm not talking about the Sabres.
All right, well, if you want to stay out of it, there was the historic loss to the Avalanche last week in which they were up 4-0 in the first period. They ended up losing 5-4 in regulation. Just an otherworldly bad a loss so bad Pete leaked my email address over it. It was disgusting on the part.
Quite literally what happened.
Of the Buffalo. It was so bad it ruined my life.
If the Sabres could just get their shit together, DJ's email would still be private information.
Yeah.
If there was one palm tree in Buffalo,
a single one,
a single palm tree, DJ would know peace.
Well, you ask why have we mentioned palm trees a couple of times? Kevin Adams, general manager, of course, of the Buffalo Sabres, held a press conference on Friday in which he came out and was like, all right, you guys want me to talk. I don't know what you want me to talk about, but here I am. I'm going to talk. We're going to play the intro of this. It's going to be his introduction. The first question, we believe from Mike Harrington of the Buffalo News, absolute legend, cooking his ass so bad with a very unprofessional loaded question. Amazing stuff. And then Kevin Adams gives his answer. Here it is.
You guys asked me to be here and answer questions, so that's what I'll do. If you're looking for me to be panicking or overreacting because of the last few games, that's not my style, but happy to answer questions.
Kevin, you've got 11 wins in 26 games. You're 12th in the East. You're 23rd in the league right now. You're coming off, you're 3 days removed from one of the most disgraceful losses in the history of the franchise. Why is your team so mentally fragile, and what are you going to do about changing the composition of this mix?
Yeah, I think the Colorado game is that's tough. That's one of those games that they wins and losses at the end of the day all count the same, but those ones hurt. And there's a lot of reasons.
All right, that's enough of that. Thank you, Kevin Adams. Mike Harrington, the real star of that, though.
Oh, yeah. I do like, though, I guess I'll talk about the Sabres for a second. I do like that Kevin Adams was like, things going bad. You guys want to talk to me. You're probably going to yell at me. But here's the thing. I'm not gonna freak out.
You thought I wasn't doing anything over the summer? That was me stretching, clearing my throat for how much I'm not about to do anything.
The one thing
it's just me warming up.
The one thing I'll say about that is he made it sound like he tried a lot, but people just don't want to play in Buffalo.
Okay, so he talked about the taxes and everything early on, and it's tough. Not a destination right now is the way that he phrased it, and then was asked about it later, and he said, let's find it. Sorry, I had it and lost it.
Something along the lines of, we don't have palm trees, we have taxes.
He said, Google Chrome, not doing it for me right now. Said, we don't, do you have it, Sean? There's an ad blocking it.
Not specifically, but it was, like I said, along those lines.
Yeah, the general vibe of it was like, we're not a destination.
I got it. Trees. Sorry. We don't have palm trees. We have taxes in New York. Those are real, and those are things you deal with. But, and trust me, there's, I think, conversations every day, and there's a lot of players in this league that we're on their no-trade list. So we need to earn their respect, and it starts with getting the blah, blah, blah. So he says, guys, but listen, here's the good news. It sounds like I'm going to say good news. We're on everybody's no-trade list.
We want guys. They just don't want us. What do you want me to do about it?
And he got dragged all weekend for the palm trees.
Well, he should, because that's such a stupid quote. The reason that the Buffalo Sabres are on so many people's no-trade clause or no-trade list is because you don't fucking win hockey games.
And in his defense, he did go on to say that. He's like, you look at the Buffalo Bills, like they weren't a destination city 10 years ago, and now players clearly want to play there because they win, which is true. But then you have to ask yourself, why aren't you winning? And it's like, you know who has worse taxes and less palm trees? The city of Toronto. And I get that it's Toronto or Edmonton. They just drafted very well. Like, ultimately, you're not a destination because you have not done your job well. And that's is what it is. Or because you're not getting the proper resources from your ownership, which is another massive complaint from a lot of Sabres fans. And
that was
some of the stuff that was talked about.
Yeah.
Of course it wasn't, because Kevin Adams is a yes man, and that's why he's had that job.
Yeah, I mean, I understand not wanting to get up there and shit talk your boss. There's nothing you can't really gain anything from that, but still.
Standard operating procedure, but it's just like the excuse making when the Sabres have operated as a losing team for like quite some time at this point. And it's just like everybody knows it, regardless of what your situation is as like a city, your tax bracket, whatever, you will be in a position to succeed if you put yourself in a position to succeed. Players will go to you. Like, players will go anywhere. Like, the right players will go anywhere if there's a winning hockey team.
And they're in a unique situation because a lot of bad teams do get free agents just by merely spending and giving them the sense of, hey, once you're here, look at how the rest of the roster falls into place. The culture can begin with you and everything. Like, it's easy to wrap your head around that, where especially if you're a competitor and you think, I'm going to make any team I join better. The Sabres are in a unique situation where I would guess every player in the NHL thinks the stench of their culture is stronger than anything good that one player could bring. They're like, if I go there, I'm joining a losery thing. Not if I go there, we're building this thing. I think that players probably feel, I don't want to get that Sabre thing on me, because it is real. They draft promising young players and the players don't immediately rot, but it doesn't work there and then it works fantastic somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally what I was talking to you guys about before the show. Like, another thing that was brought up in this thing, which I don't necessarily agree with, was like the criticism of Owen Power. And it's just like, get rid of a guy like that, guaranteeing his spot in the Hall of Fame, wherever the fuck he ends up. Like, it is just like a pretty widespread failure, like head to toe. Like, obviously, it is a disadvantage to be playing in Buffalo. Fully aware of that. But like we talked about, there's plenty of other teams with similar disadvantages that have those things. Like, I don't really know what the answer is other than like drafting well and getting lucky, which they clearly have not done. Well, I can't even say that. They drafted Jack Eichel. He's one of the best players in hockey. It is a mixture of not being able to scout well, not having a large scouting department, which is a product of the lack of resources getting from your ownership, and then not using those resources that you do have well. And then when you do that well, you find another way to fuck it up.
Here's my potential solution.
Number one issue for the Buffalo Sabres is not having like core leadership that
they don't have a culture at all.
They don't have a strong culture. They don't have a strong core leadership group that
I think that
makes them do the right things every day.
I think they do have a culture that has been pretty heavily diagnosed throughout the league.
Like Silly Boys Club.
Right. Like that is culture.
Yeah,
it's not good culture. It's not good behavior. My potential solution was, what if you try to Washington Capitals your way out of it? Trade for bad contracts, trade for broken toys, get pieces, and just see if because this year they just seemed thin. Their roster wasn't as deep as you would want it to be. And I thought, okay, well, that'd be fine because young guys are going to take steps forward. Dylan Cousins is going to be a year better. He's going to replace Jeff Skinner's production and everything. And that just doesn't happen. So is their next attempt at fixing this, find guys that are either unsatisfied in their places or they got a bad contract? Lord knows you have the space to do it. It's a huge risk because if you had traded for a Pierre-Luc Dubois, I could guarantee you that guy would have 5 points on the season right now if he were in Buffalo.
It would be so bad.
Oh my God.
So he would go worse because, to Pete's point, they don't have the good culture where, like, and it's weird to say like they need a Nick Foligno because right now things aren't going well in Chicago. But God, they could use 5 Nick Folignos right now.
The Kevin Adams press conference did nothing to make anybody feel better.
No,
and that's the problem. It's like if Kevin Adams went up there, did freak out and did have like panic to him, I think that Sabres fans would have a better takeaway from it being like, at least this is concerning to him.
And I mean, my thing is that like, I don't even necessarily have a problem with him not panicking, because I feel like so often in these situations you see GMs who are clearly like, their job is on the line, panicking and ruining the future of the franchise, trying to save their job. Completely fine with him not doing that. He talked about in the presser how he was like, everyone makes a big deal about this $8 million cap space, whatever. We have a bunch of young players that we're going to have to sign in the future. We can't handicap ourselves with contracts for however long. But you can do it right now. Like, you have that $8 million. You're not paying anybody with that money right now. There needs to be like, and your whole thing was like, this team is a playoff team. If you like, I feel like you have to choose one. Like, if you think this is a playoff team and you're setting those expectations, then, and you have this $8 million for this year, why are you not trying to do something? Which, again, maybe he is, and guys just refuse to come here. But like, at the end of the day, your job as a GM is to figure out a way around.
You know
that.
what? Another potential solution for me is, why aren't they the offer sheet guys?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
don't they just start fucking poaching guys? Like, why didn't they do the Broberg thing?
But
I think it's because we all thought no one was going to do that, but
it's also for the same reason, like I was talking about, like his whole thing coming into this year is like, our younger guys are going to take a step forward. I think there was a lot of weight put on obviously Quinn and Cousins to a much lesser extent, but still on like a guy like Devin Levi. Like, you're expecting all these young guys to go forward, which I think was a miscalculation to begin with. You're expecting, at least in the case of Quinn and Cousins, guys who had career years 2 years ago, to like keep getting better, which is not a bet that you cannot like.
But who's
guarantee
teaching
that.
them to get better?
Well, that's the other thing. It's just like, you don't have anything to, like, nothing in your history, at least in the last 10, 15 years, suggests that you are going to do that, or that they are going to do that as members of the Buffalo Sabres. So it's just like, I just don't feel like there is a clear like commitment to a plan, where it's just like, if you think that these guys are the future or whatever, then.
Well, I think they have it in them. Like, I think that they have a very strong like young group that has it in them to be those guys. I don't think that they're tapping the right people to bring it out of them on a daily basis.
You need to be honest with yourself, because like, you talk about him being a yes man. I talked about him not being able to criticize ownership. But like, even if you're not going to do that publicly, you need to be honest with yourself and be like, do I actually have a reason to believe that this franchise is going to be able to make these players play to the peak of their potential? And if you are being honest with yourself and the Buffalo Sabres, the answer to that is no. There is no reason to believe that, I think, especially at this point. Like, I understand, like, that was the thing with the Lindy Ruff hire, is like, there's one thing is getting young guys to play above their potential, blah, blah, blah. That clearly has not happened. So it's just like, all right, what are we doing now? Because like, it doesn't seem like we're doing anything. It just is like, this is going to work itself out. But it's like, if your whole thing is like, we got to sign these players in the future, but they're not playing well, then like, what do you do?
You're going to save a lot of money.
We got to make
like,
sure
what do you
that the
do?
players that are playing poorly are locked in for a long time.
Yeah, so like, what is the plan here? You need to pivot at a certain point. You obviously can't fire Lindy Ruff. So
there's just not been any or else either.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, there is no threat of accountability. If this were Boston, talk about do whatever you want, fail however you want, as long as you're making the playoffs.
The Rangers,
if you miss the playoffs, then you're gone, and we get another guy to tape together a playoff team. Don't care how we do it, just get to the playoffs. Sabres don't even have that.
I mean, the Rangers won the President's Trophy last year, and they had like 2 bad weeks, and Chris Drury was like, I'll trade everybody. I don't fucking care. And like, you can argue that that's not good behavior and that it almost blew up in their face, and you might be right. But I mean, at least they're not accepting of just being like, well, this is who we are.
And it's also like the Drury thing is just like, that's a former Buffalo Sabre. Like, I feel like there is no like, beyond like the current culture of the team, there is also no like, there's no veterans, no retired players, no legends of the thing, like, outside of Lindy Ruff, I guess, who's a former, like, holding the franchise accountable. There is no sense of like,
you got Bill Fichtner. He goes to games.
That's right. There
is no sense of like, this franchise, because the reality is like the early 2000s, late 90s, one of the best franchises in hockey, outside of the fact that they didn't win a championship. Like, there was a time when this franchise was respectable.
Yeah, they cooked.
And there is nobody from that time, like, outside of the fact that I guess 2 of them are general managers of competing teams, so it's not like they really can be. But like there is nothing about this team that's just like we need to get back to when we were respectable. There is like no tie to that era of the franchise, and it just feels like they are floating through a deep dark void.
Sean, you're very upset, and I understand that, but I will wrap this by quoting the extremely cringy Saturday Night Live moment from Kate McKinnon playing Hallelujah on the piano dressed as Hillary Clinton. I'm not giving up, and neither should you.
You
okay?
should. You
should?
You should give up.
We all silly like the mayor.
If you're coming away from game one saying, like, I'm just now realizing that we might be playing a team that's just as good as us or perhaps better than us, then that's on you.
But let's begin with the Oilers taking game one over the Panthers. If you did not watch our watch along, our stream, we hope that you do and that you're subscribed on YouTube. We made a vow, and if we had more time, we would make a borderline political ad vowing and promising that this Stanley Cup final, Pete, what will we not give you?
Takeaways.
We will not give you drugs or takeaways. We will not give you takeaways.
That's a little bit of a smudging of the commitment and the vow. We said no takeaways for game one.
I meant it for the whole series.
Okay.
I'm not stupid enough to do a takeaway. We're going to do observations.
Oilers sweep after they win game four. Just no takeaways.
Gotta
wait for more.
I did get one. We discussed last night. Observations, not takeaways. Observations are things that you see and that happened. Takeaways are developing stories, trends that you're putting in your head, saying this means this means this. And these are two teams that we are not foolish enough to do that with. In fact, when Chris Johnston, our guy, tweeted that the Panthers were 31-0 it'll just be 31-0 in the postseason when leading after one or two periods under Paul Maurice, I laughed it off right then and there. I didn't say that, okay, well, the Oilers are going to win, but I'm like, well, that's a useless bit of information. Oilers come back and win that game. And if you had told me that when the Oilers were up 1-0 in the second minute of the game that, when the Oilers score within the first 2 minutes, then blah, blah, I would say, cool. Do you have a printer and a match, please, so I can light that on fire? Because takeaways in this series with these two teams, very dangerous. We're not doing it.
I disagree with the useless bit of information. The information is still welcome. Like, it's nice to know, especially when the Oilers come back and win that game. You should know that that the Panthers don't do that. The Panthers don't give away those kinds of games, which is something that you can credit to the Oilers here. But the no takeaways thing is nobody should be overreacting to anything that you saw in game one, no matter how it went, no matter what the script looked like. That doesn't matter. Like, I hate to say it, it doesn't matter. Look at what happened in last year's Stanley Cup final. The Panthers won the first 3 games, and it was decided by 1 goal in game 7.
Right.
Both of these teams are never dead. Both these teams have shown plenty of resilience. Both of these teams are very, very well equipped to handle whatever the beginning of the series throws at them.
Yeah, the way that 716 Nick in the chat,
My guy.
the greatest. If it weren't for that guy, I'd have Rasmus Ristolainen jersey. That's another story for another time. The way I think of it is we should think of this series and visualize it as whether it's a game of Connect 4 or even one of those things that the teams use with the pucks. Every time they win a game, they put a puck in the thing, and then it's one bit like teams are adding pucks. This is a build, like we are taking strokes and painting a picture. Okay, so a team was going to win last night. A team was going to be up 1-0, and then maybe the next game a team was going to tie it, or it would be 2-0. Look, are we going to bend the rules of no takeaways? Of course. Are we going to still make it our brand and possibly my identity this entire series? Sounds like something we would do. Okay, so just bear with us. I have been watching a show due to recent developments called The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gotts the last couple of days, and I'm over the moon for it. Love this show. It's a guy and like 400 producers, and they do an amazing sports show, and they were doing some great Cup final talk today. This is a show that's based in Florida, And the host of the show, Dan Lebitard, called it a crushing loss for the Panthers because this was the first time that the Panthers had to possibly consider they're playing a team better than them this postseason. I found it a very interesting Florida perspective. Not what I would think for the Panthers, but should the Panthers, we know that they won't feel crushed, but should they feel they kind of let one slip away?
Yeah, I think maybe just based off of the fact they blew a multi-goal lead in that game and like were much better in the second period. Like I think that you can feel like you kind of let one slip away, especially like Sergei Bobrovsky didn't have the best game yesterday, and if you win a game where Sergei Bobrovsky isn't great, like you feel really good about that.
Agree.
But like, I don't think it's a crushing loss. And did Florida fans not consider that the Oilers might be just as good or better than them? Like, it was a 7-game series last year, and this team got better. They've got Leon Draisaitl, who's healthy. We'll talk about that. But I think that it's if you're coming away from game one saying, like, I'm just now realizing that we might be playing a team that's just as good as us or perhaps better than us, then that's on you for not watching the Oilers, not considering what this run has been on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, I mean, PD has said, I think, like, by the time it reaches, say, the conference final, you are pre-scouting so heavily. It's the easiest thing in the world. I mean, the players themselves even couldn't do it because the other team is playing the night that you're not playing. So, like, you're not going out and tying one on, hanging out in your hotel room, watching hockey. So I think both of these teams understand that the other team is unbelievable. And I also think that both teams have risen to the occasion. That was a fucking awesome game last night.
Yeah. I like Dangerous Wade's suggestion. Call it an educational theory instead of a takeaway.
Exactly.
We're the only podcast doing Stanley Cup final educational theories.
Hypotheses, if you will.
Yes.
Or hypotheses, I should say. Roy Bellamy, I thought, had a good, not takeaway, but I would call it a read. Here's a tweet from Roy Bellamy, our dear friend of the hockey show.
Yo
on
Mama.
Meadowlark. Yes, Yo Mama joke pioneer. Florida looked exhausted and passive. They couldn't get anything going in the third or overtime. Plenty of flip-outs and dump-ins trying to get fresh players on short shifts, giving the puck back to Edmonton. Icings leading to face-offs in their own zone. Then the penalty. Not an ounce of fat on that tweet. Roy telling us what he saw, Roy telling us what he meant. The first sentence of it is what's interesting. Could the Panthers be tired? Could they be feeling the effects of 3 long runs?
We just got a month off.
I hope, yes. My answer would be, I hope not, because although they do have a couple of geezers on their team, they've got guys in the prime of their career who were just given a week off from hockey.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. They played a lot of games over the past like three years, and more so than anybody. But at the same time, like they looked really good in the Eastern Conference Final and then got a week off. I'm not going to read too much into one game where they didn't finish all that strong. Had a really good second period. Obviously, the third period and overtime were largely tilted in Edmonton's favor. I don't think it's worth like an overreaction, but it is worth considering that maybe they just ran out of gas a little bit at the end of game one.
Okay, I think there are 2 players that we're probably going to discuss a lot for Edmonton on today's show. One is Leon Draisaitl, and one is Jake Wallman, and there are obvious reasons why we'll discuss both of them. I want to make sure that we get in there, though. Stu Skinner was unbelievable in that second period, and then for the rest of the game didn't allow a goal. After Florida went up 3-1, and Edmonton came within 1, bad goal that Bob allows on the Arvidsson slap shot. Also, rewatching the game this morning, Oilers were doing a couple of those where they like get close to Bob and wind up and let it rip. Wonder if that's some sort of pre-scout thing, or maybe they just saw that he was bad on rebounds, so they were like, you know what, let's just launch him on him. But when it was 3-2 on the stream, we discussed Stu has allowed 3 goals. The game is not yet halfway done. This is kind of uncharted territory for him because it feels like the Oilers are very much in this game. Can he just only allow 3 or 4 goals in this game? Can he lock in from here and say, it's kind of like, so I have problems with food and eating. If I eat something bad early in the day, my brain says, well, you're having a bad day. You're a piece of shit. You're not doing it right. Pizza for dinner, chicken fingers for dinner,
Steering into the skid.
Steering into the skid, exactly. Stu does that a lot, where he allows a couple of goals in the first 20 minutes of the game, and it's like, well, I guess I'm having a bad game now. Stu did the opposite last night. 3 goals in the first maybe 25 minutes of the game or whatever, and from there, best player on the ice in the second period. Obviously keeps it together the rest of the way.
Also worth mentioning that like those 3 goals were not really his fault.
No,
like
Sam Bennett doing God mode Sam Bennett stuff that I rewatched that this morning too. He was kicking his feet around in the like 6 seconds leading up to that. He was tussling with guys and he was like honestly looking, he was feeling around trying to find sticks. That guy is so fucking good
Savvy.
at what he does. Like brilliant player. And again, when I saw it live, I said, I tweeted when you thought I was writing a manifesto, what players in that moment realize, oh shit, I have a free goaltender interference card, and he jumps on the goalie, goal, bang. But it's not that he realized it in that split second. He was looking for it for 5 seconds leading up to it. So that's when you don't blame on Stu. Marchand power play goal. You'd like Stu to be a little faster moving across the net, but that's just not Stu. So fuck off with that. And the other one, the third one, Wallman, maybe Petey will fill us in on this, but like kind of looked like Wallman was going to somebody who was already covered, and that leaves Sam Bennett to go in all alone on Stu and beat him. Sam Bennett scoring 1 million goals. I'm not mad at it. But what's important is that he didn't do the I'm allowing goals tonight thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and if you're a Panthers fan too who's trying to talk yourself off the ledge here, like first of all, you shouldn't be on the ledge, but number 2, like this is the difference this year to last year if we're making the comparison. 1 year, you got an unbelievable Sergei Bobrovsky game. This year, he was the worst goalie in this game. And like he wasn't awful, but he wasn't the best goalie. And that like game 1 last year, you got severely outplayed.
yeah,
More so than you did this time around. You just won because of the goalie last year. So like things ended up working out for you last year. I don't think it's worth being like, oh my God, they're running out of gas. Like they're screwed in this series. Relax. It's going to be fine. Also, I think that you gotta leave room for the fact too that the Panthers are playing the best team that they've played in these playoffs, and the Oilers are really, really good at weakening teams over the course of games, and that can happen to the Panthers. They're not this bulletproof team that can't be affected by that. Are they normal?
I kind of think they are, but I agree with you.
They're normally the team that does that.
Yeah.
But once again, like they're playing a team that's in their neighborhood here. There's a possibility that can happen to them.
Okay. Couple of stats that I want to run through from the great Megan Chayka. Loose puck shot recoveries, 54-43. That is great when the Oilers don't have Zach Hyman. Because like that is Zach Hyman's thing. He's a dog playing fetch. He is going and getting that thing. So they still did that without Zach Hyman. Very good. Shots off rebounds 6-3. That makes sense because Bob was kind of rebound city last night. But I agree. I do agree that like Bob definitely wasn't bad. He allowed 1 bad goal, but he also made a lot of good saves.
There were a lot of rebound. His rebound control wasn't amazing, but they didn't really make him pay for that.
Okay, let's get to the play of the game presented by, we don't have a sponsor for this thing, and it also wasn't the play of the game, but Tomas Nosek, very, very tough delay of game penalty in overtime, sends the puck over the glass, and then, thanks to the Sportsnet cameras, we see Jake Wallman. Check it out.
Played over the glass, and there's 20,000 making the call.
Okay, Jake Wallman, godsend, what a pickup, great player, et cetera, better than anyone expected. Pete, explain why that had to be the worst moment of Tomas Nosek's life.
Because he just committed the worst penalty of his entire life on hockey's biggest stage, and then 1 second later, there's a famous TikTok guy in your ear just saying,
possibly, and if you're not watching the video, yes, Jake Wallman gets in his ear and gives him like is Nelson the character in The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Gives him like a ha right in his face. I love Jake Wallman. If it weren't for this guy, I would have a Jake Wallman jersey.
It's true.
He's got to be top 5 most annoying players in the league. He's got some Subban to him where it's like, that guy's going to fucking piss me off and I'm going to let him piss me off. And I just shouldn't let it happen, but it's going to happen. And Wallman does that. Great moment.
Yeah, he's pretty obnoxious. He's an obnoxious guy, endearing for the most part. If I was Nosek, like, to Wallman's credit, like, I probably would have punched him in the face there and probably gotten an extra 2 minutes on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's good gamesmanship. I love it, especially in that stage, especially against the Panthers, who are the most annoying team in the league, I think, to play against. Probably safe to say.
Yeah.
Give it right back to him. I like that a lot. It's the only thing that I'll say here is that's game 1. There's a lot of hockey left to be played. There's a very good chance that ends up being turned on the Oilers fan base and used as ammunition against them.
Oh, big time. And I think that Brad Marchand and Matthew Tkachuk are licking their chops, being like, oh my God, challenge accepted. Because that's the thing. It's a good point. Like, Panthers are the nastiest team. They're the dirtiest team. They're everything that will get under your skin. But Oilers are the most physical team that they've faced so far. And they do have guys, Evander Kane, Jake Wallman, who will piss you off and annoy you. So while I will take the Panthers 10 times out of 10 in a battle of annoying and cheap and pissing you off, the Oilers do have that. And they have Trent Frederick as well. Wallman, though, godsend of an acquisition, has been great. One of the best defensemen throughout the entire postseason for anybody. Led the game last night with 4 blocked shots. He could have died like several times and stayed in the game. Great for him. He assisted Draisaitl's first goal. He fucked up, like I said, on that second Sam Bennett goal. But he also, do you remember the play in overtime? He was on his knees, like high in the zone, and still controlled the puck and kept the play going to set up a Trent Frederick chance where we were like, God, if Trent Frederick scored, that would have been unbelievable. Honestly, it's better for Jake Wallman that Trent Frederick didn't, because it allowed him. He was like, I already got that cool play stashed, and now later if someone takes a penalty, I get to piss them off and be an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, Wallman's been great. I think really, really strong addition, but also I think that the obnoxious factor is added bonus for the Oilers.
Wonderful.
Especially in this series.
Wonderful behavior from Jake Wallman.
We all silly like the mayor.